Seconds Out, Ayman Khan here with the incomparable Sam Jones to react to this weekend's action. Sam, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. We've not spoke for a while. All good though, mate. What happened to What happened to Danny? Are you are
Well,
you are you Danny's replacement now?
I wouldn't call myself Danny's replacement, but maybe under his wing sort of thing is a bit more of an apt phrase to say. Before we get into all the boxing, Sam, I heard some rumors, some whispers that it's coming home. What do you know about this?
Mate, I'm one of them delusional fans that always thinks England will win the World Cup. Yes, this is it. This is it. So I never, by rights, England's football team, we should be in the final at the very least. Yeah, with the side we have, obviously the draw we have. Obviously, I know if we win on today, nothing's a foregone conclusion. Senegal are a good team, but like France have a very weakened, well, not a weakened side, but they have a lot of injuries, and we should beat them. England's team should be getting us there, but and history tells you that it most likely isn't coming home, but we can always dream.
Can always dream, indeed. Now let's jump back into the boxing side of things. Sam, I'll let you start. Did the fight unfold on the night last night the way you felt it would in the days and weeks leading up to Fury versus Chisora?
Yeah, like listen, a lot was made of like the criticism of the fight and stuff, and and I wasn't like ever saying I never said this about that about. I was asked questions about the fight, and I was just given an honest answer. It's not a fight that I wanted to see, and like if I'll buy the pay per views. You know what I mean? Like I'm a boxing fan at the end of the day. If a Coley Askin 2 was made, I would pay for that. I'm just a boxing fan. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm a boxing fan before anything else. So I will always watch the pay per views, especially in the UK. And I was happy for Derek that he get a nice big payday. But the fight unfolded pretty much how I thought it was going to do. I thought it'd end earlier. I wish it did end a lot earlier. And I was sad watching it. I swear on my hand on my heart, I was sad watching it, if I was perfectly honest, because I don't want to see Derek Chisora, who is a legend of the sport, fight anyone. Old school, he's last of a dying breed. Derek is like the throwback fighter, will fight anybody, and I just didn't want to see him take a pummeling. But I just hope, and it's not for me to comment this because it's easy for people to sit there and say, "Oh, I want someone to retire," because it's nothing to do with me. But as a fan of Derek and someone who genuinely likes Derek as a person, I don't want to see him box again, mate. I want to see him enjoy his money with his. He's got he's got young family, young daughters. Go and enjoy your family and spend your money and be in good health, because I do not want to see Derek in a boxing ring again. He's made loads of money. You don't need to fight again. That's just my opinion. But I was unhappy with how long the fight lasted, if I'm honest. But that's another thing in itself.
Sam, you being there kind of as a consumer watching the fight, but also being involved in boxing as heavily involved as you are, and knowing kind of the scene and knowing fighters and the extent of kind of injuries and things, was that a particularly, with the miles on the clock with Derek, was that a particularly hard watch at times to keep watching?
Mate, I promise this. Like I'm not just saying this for effect at all. I felt it sick watching some of the last rounds, and I was like, listen, Don Charles knows Derek Chisora better than most people. Yeah, he's been around from the beginning. I know they had a time apart and stuff, and I like Don Charles. I'm not just saying that either. I like Don Charles. He's a decent guy, but it was brave cornering for me. I don't like brave corners, and I think the corner was too brave last night. Like, your job is to protect your man, yeah, and Derek needed protecting, and those Derek Chisora would still be fighting now if he could stand on two legs and still swing his arms. He would still be fighting Tyson Fury now. He'd fight until it constantly fight. He'd never stop swinging. So Derek is there to Victor Lachlan, I thought, did a good job last night. I thought even he could have probably stopped it a bit, but he did a good job because I saw him. He was saying to the corner, I'm sure he was saying to the corner, like, guys, come on, like that almost don't make me have to do this. You should be doing, like, I don't know, but I just thought this isn't a Rocky film, mate. This isn't a Rocky film where he can beat Apollo Creed in the last round. Do you know what I mean? And movie set in endings. This is real life. This is a guy who's 38 years old, who's been involved in some absolute barnstormers in his career, taking heavy shots from the number one heavyweight in the world. Yeah. And I thought it was a bit, I thought it was horrible to watch, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I found it very difficult to watch. And I just thought it was poor from the corner. I thought it was very poor from the corner. I thought it's your job to protect your man. Yeah. I'm not a fighter, don't profess to be one. Not a coach, don't profess to be one. But if I was Derek's manager or whatever, if I was there ringside, I'd have been screaming at the corner. I'd have fell out of everybody. I'd have been like, mate, throw the towel in. I'd seen enough from round 3, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, that's just my opinion, mate. And that's not me having personal digs at anyone. That's just my opinion as somebody that was watching it. And yeah, I just think that your job as a corner, like, is to protect your guy. That's just my opinion.
So I've seen this criticism, obviously hearing it from yourself and seeing it online in the aftermath of the fight and during the fight as well, as it unfolded, of Don. Now, I don't know the situation, but knowing maybe a little bit about Don, he's a compassionate trainer, he knows Derek very well. Could it be potentially that it was instruction from Chisora that stopped him
I
from
don't care
pulling?
if it was. I don't care, mate. Like if Chisora said, "Oh yeah, if you throw the towel in," but I don't care about none of that. Your job as a cornerman, as a professional trainer, is to protect your man. And I don't believe Don Charles protected Derek Chisora last night. I just don't. I like Don, and I mean that. I like Don as a person. I've worked with Don in the past. I like him. He's a good man, a very, very decent bloke. But I just don't believe he protected his man last night, and it was horrible to watch, if I'm honest with you. Derek getting up, his eyes shutting, jaw clearly. His jaw looks. I say, like, the way he was talking in the post fight, his jaw probably broken or his fractured. Like, you could have saved him. Do you know what I mean? You could have saved him from that. He's 38 years old. Don't need to be taking that. What does Derek need to prove to anybody? How tough he is. He's shown us all how tough he is. Derek will never quit. Derek's a warrior. You don't need to, he has to leave flat on his back for it to be a statement from Tyson Fury or to prove how tough he is. No, I don't want to see Derek flat on his back. One good thing is that Derek ended the fight on his feet, and that's what I was happy about. But I just think that he took 4 rounds too much punishment. 5 rounds too much punishment, in my opinion. But listen, what the fuck do I know about anything? I'm just saying it as from what I saw. I didn't like it.
Could we have seen maybe Derek do a bit more? Was that the best of Derek that we've seen at the level he's
No
at right
way,
now?
no fucking way, no way. Derek did what Derek did. Derek tried his best, as he always does in every single fight he's ever taken part in. You know what you're going to get with Derek Chisora. And Derek's a lion. And I mean this. I respect Derek Chisora so much because I just think he is the last of a dying breed. He's a throwback fighter that will fight any man. Yeah. And he deserved that last big payday that he was got. And I just hope Derek just enjoys his life now. Go and be ringside for all the big fights. And because I know he loves boxing. He absolutely loves boxing. Just go and be ringside of all these big fights and go and enjoy your lovely little family and spend your money. Do you know what I mean? Live in good health. I don't want to see Derek Chisora fight again.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. You've answered that there with your
No.
feelings about Chisora's next steps. Sam, he did seem content in the ref stopping him, which usually is a bit of a sign. But he said to my colleague Raheem, who was on the scene, he said that he's going to go on the road now, which suggests maybe he'll be taking fights maybe over in America. That was something whispered, a fight with Wilder. What do you make of that?
Mate, no, I don't want to see Derek Chisora fight anybody, let alone Deontay Wilder. If anyone, if somebody puts that fight and I don't like them, I genuinely will have no respect for whoever puts on that fight. But listen, Derek's his own man. Who am I to tell Derek Chisora what to do? He's a fully grown man. But I just think he's made loads of money. I don't want to see Derek do that anymore. Derek's a world-class heavyweight. I don't care what anybody says, he's a world-class heavyweight, but there's a difference between world-class heavyweights and elite heavyweights. Tyson Fury is an elite heavyweight, and he came up short against an elite, the best of his era, which is Tyson Fury. I don't want to see Derek Chisora fight again, but that's just my opinion. I want to see Derek healthy and enjoy his life.
Sam, how do you stop a fighter that wants to continue?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. All I know is it's just like, it's, for example, right, when I work with Joe Joyce professionally, Joe's still a very good mate of mine, but I don't care what position Joe's in when he's next year or the year after. Joe's 37, yeah? He's got a couple of good years, 2-3 years, but Joe's fit enough to fight until he's 40. But do I want to see him fight till he's 40? Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. I don't care what position he's in, whether he's the undisputed champion by the time. I don't care. I don't want to see him fight till he's 40 years old. I want to see, like, there's people have to be, you have to have good people around you. You have to have solid people around you. And that's just my thing. I just think it's all well and good being a millionaire, right? Which is great. Yeah. Everyone wants to be a millionaire. But if you can't spend it in good health, then what's the point? Do you understand what I mean? If you're not got all your faculties, there's no point having all that money, is there? Because you just be spending them on medical bills. That's just my thoughts on it, mate. I might be wrong, but that's just my opinion.
I'm moving to something a little bit more positive, but sticking with Fury Chisora. There was a moment that got people talking, and that was after the fight. Usyk joined Tyson on the apron. He didn't say too much. Tyson did, though. I know you want to mention Joe Joyce on this, but before we get there, we like a bit of the old WWE stuff, Sam, from the old days, and that was certainly a bit of a moment there with Usyk and Tyson.
Yeah, mate, listen, Usyk, this is my opinion. I've had a lot of stick from this. I've said it, I've tweeted it. And I can bring Joe into it because it is relevant to the conversation. Joe Joyce is a harder night's work for Tyson Fury. I guarantee it. Save what I've said here. He's a harder night's work. But that's not because I'm disrespecting Usyk. Usyk is an all-time great, pound for pound legend, yeah? Genius of a fighter. Tyson Fury is 20 stone, yeah? Usyk is 16 stone, 15, 16 stone. He's got 4 or 5 stone on him. He's taller than him, longer reach, punches harder. Usyk's very awkward. Tyson's more awkward. Do you understand what I mean? Styles make fights. I personally believe Tyson Fury will dispatch of Usyk. I do think that just because he's just whatever Usyk can do, Tyson can do more of it. Do you understand what I mean? And just bigger. That won't work with Joe Joyce. I'm sure Tyson will have big success against Joe, but believe me, Joe will have success against Tyson. But for the good of the division, yeah, the boxing needs the undisputed fight, and that's the fight what we have to see next. We have to see Tyson Fury against Alexander Usyk, wherever the hell in the world it happens. Who cares? Let's just see these two duke it out and see who's the number one in the division, and then give your Joe Joyces and your Hrgovic's their opportunities. Yeah.
Do you want to see Joyce in a fight in between, or?
Yeah, I will. I would like to see Joe keep active because it's important, especially at the age of 37. He needs to. But the thing is with Joe, and like you saw it against Hammer, when Joe fights those fights, he'll train and he'll train incredibly hard. But I know him inside out as a person. He will be thinking, oh, I want to fight the big guys now. Joe deserves a massive monster fight. And that's the only thing that'll get him up. Remember, he's 37 years old. It's about what gets you up for it. And Joe deserves a super fight, and I'm sure he'll get it this year because he fully deserves it. I mean, yeah.
Sam, it was quite interesting because when Joyce came and entered that little interaction, saying that he'd fight Fury, it was received quite well by the crowd there. Who would have been.
Because people want to see that fight now. People have finally accepted Joe Joyce as a real player in the division, which he deserved years ago. And it took a win against Daniel Dubois and Joe Parker and a Takam for people to start giving him his respect. People are always going to disrespect Joe in the sense of, oh, he's slow and all that kind of stuff. But I assure you, Joe Joyce is the biggest threat to Tyson Fury in that division. I promise you this. I promise that is the case. I mean, mentioning Daniel Dubois, by the way, I thought Daniel showed some big plums last night. I thought he was. I was so pleased for Daniel Dubois because people don't realise, right? I like Daniel Dubois. I like his family. Respect all his family. I think Caroline's amazing. I think Daniel Dubois has got a massive future. But that belt that Daniel Dubois has will cause problems because he's the heavyweight champ. He's not a heavyweight champion. He's needs to be taken. Sometimes you have to take a few steps forward to take a few steps back, if that makes to get forward. Does that make sense? He has to kind of go back a bit. Daniel just needs to. He's 24, I think. He's only a young man. He's got so much time on his hands. He's got a great jab, yeah, elite level jab, and elite level power, yeah. But he needs to keep building. Like all this, let's fight against Tyson Fury, let's fight against rematch Joe Joyce. Mate, he is nowhere near ready for that. He needs to go and fight Fabio Wardley, the David Adelaides. He needs to keep working and keep building. And as I say, that win will do him the world of good. It will do his confidence the world of good because he faced some adversity last night again, Daniel, and I was really, really happy for him. I just think that people are kidding themselves if they think he's ready for like these elite guys. He's not. He can be. Daniel can be one of the futures of the division, but just not yet. Just not yet. And that's what I said when he fought Joe Joyce. He's just not experienced enough yet. But yeah, just thought I'd mention Daniel Dubois there. Good, but I'm very, very pleased for him.
Being blunt about Dubois here in my next question, Sam, to you. We've seen him 3 times take a knee, 2 times in the last fight. This time around, he did come out with the victory in that adversity. Is that a concern for you, him?
No, because I think that his brains were scrambled in the. I know, like, because it was weird to watch. Like, I know Frampton was very critical of McGuigan, but in fairness to Shane McGuigan, it turned out to be the right decision because I think he spends day in, day out with his fighter. He obviously knows he's formed a relationship with Daniel, but it was weird to see Shane say, "Oh, his leg's hurting. We'll get a scan," and Daniel's like, "No, my leg's fine." So it was a bit strange, but listen, you got to credit Shane. He was very good in the corner with Daniel last night and helped him through and got the win. And listen, that's what matters, I think. But no, as for taking the knee, your question about taking the knee, I think Daniel was sensible in taking the knee because I think his brains were scrambled and he needed to recover. So it's shown signs of maturity there. But like, I did fear the worst when I saw him take the knee. So I was thinking, oh my life, are the demons kind of coming back? But he exercised those demons last night and he got through it. And as I say, I only have good feeling towards Daniel Dubois and his family, and I genuinely support him. I want to see him do really well. I just don't want to see him within a million miles of Joseph Joyce.
Is that a wider issue then of, maybe kind of Russian fighters if they're not quite ready yet?
This is what I mean. Like, listen, Frank Warren has done, people don't realise, they can say whatever they want, has done an amazing job with Daniel Dubois. Do you know what I mean? He brought him up to that level, got him to number 1. Listen, I know they thought he'd beat Joe, but he didn't. But they've rebuilt him. They've got him that WA ranking thing. They've done an unbelievable job with him. But I just think now, listen, this is not me giving advice to a Hall of Fame promoter. I just think they need to take a few steps back to go to get a few steps forward. They need to go on, get him involved in some domestic fights. The David Adelaides, the Fabio Wardleys, they're great fights for Daniel. And then build him. He's got so much time on his hands because once you get to a certain level, and it happened with Anthony Joshua, as soon as you get to a certain level, there's no going back. Do you understand what I mean? With Joe's been navigated well. I'm not just saying that, but he has. I think me and Adam did a great job in navigating Joe. Adam's continuing to do a great job. But Joe's 37, so he didn't really have much of a choice. Daniel's 24. Take your time. Take your time. So it's a marathon, not a sprint in boxing. It's a long career. You don't need to throw him, say, "Oh, let's fight Tyson Fury and all these crazy fights." Usyk, like Daniel's nowhere near ready for that. In a few years, he will be because he's got a lot of attributes to do it. No changing power. He's got what some heavyweights would crave, but just take your fucking time with him.
Sam, a few final things for me before I let you go. Final one on Fury Chisora. You were a paying customer last night. Was it worth the $26.95 in your eyes?
I don't miss it, mate. Like what I just said to you, mate. If a Cody Askin was made, a rematch, and it was pay-per-view, I'd probably end up buying it because I'm just a fan of boxing. I loved the entrance. I thought it was great. It was good. The Daniel Dubois fight was entertaining. Yeah, mate. Listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. If you don't, this is what it is with pay-per-view. You don't have to buy it. Yeah, you don't have to. It's there for. It's a choice. You understand what I mean? It's a choice. You want to spend £26. I think Tyson Fury is box office. That's the bottom line. That's what I would say about that. Would you feel a bit as a paying customer to watch that last night? You'd probably feel one-sided fight. Yeah, probably. But is Tyson Fury box office? Yeah, he absolutely is. He's the best heavyweight to lace them up since Lennox Lewis.
Overnight, we saw Julio Cesar Martinez getting the majority decision, hopefully paving the way now for a fight with Sonny Edwards, which is a fight a lot of people have been clamoring for here, Sam.
Listen, there's a good reason why Martinez didn't want to fight Sonny Edwards, and last night showed why. Sonny Edwards would make Julio Cesar Martinez look like a white-collar fighter, my friend. He'd just punch him and laugh while he was doing it. Honestly, Sonny is the best flyweight in the world by a distance, and he'd make a mug of Martinez. I really do believe that, and I'd love to get that fight on ASAP.
We also saw Troy Williamson. It was a losing effort for Troy in Josh Kelly, but Josh Kelly maybe proved something that he wanted and needed to prove there over the weekend too.
Listen, do you know if it was anybody else, I'd be like, I'll be back. But first of all, we'll speak about Troy. Troy Williamson is like a joy to like kind of work with as a person and as a fighter, because he will literally fight anybody. He will fight anybody. Proper warrior. Trojan is a perfect nickname for, because he's a warrior. I love Troy. I've got so much time for him, and we will bring him back, and Troy will be involved in some fantastic nights. And as I say, I was extremely proud of him. I know people say, oh yeah, he lost every round, whatever. I was extremely proud of him because he came up against the Josh Kelly that was up of the Adam Boo's been screaming about. What Adam Boo's been saying, he's the best fighter, he's the most talented fighter I've ever trained. That's the Josh Kelly that Troy came up to against. Got no problem. Sometimes when you lose to a better man, you lose to a better man. I just hope now that Josh Kelly goes on to fulfill all his potential, because it's very rare in boxing where a boxer will take a loss. They had a draw against Ray Robinson, had a loss against Avanesing, bad loss, and they'll stick with their trainers, and the trainer will stick with them, because it's easy to point fingers when you lose in any sport. Yeah, it's his fault. It's his fault. Josh went through internal battles in his mind. He got through them, stuck with his coach. His coach stuck with him, and I'm very pleased for Adam and Josh together as a pairing. I think it was lovely to see them both share a lovely moment of winning the prettiest belt in boxing, which is the British title, and hopefully those two as a pairing can go on, and they can throw an egg in everybody's faces and say, look, this is what we was always talking about. And Josh goes on to win a world title, because I think a man with that type of talent, it'll be a bit of a travesty if he doesn't go on to win or to compete for world honours. But yeah, good luck to Josh Kelly, and well done to Adam Booth. Great tactics, great coach, great pairing. Over and out.
Sam, final quick thing for you. What's coming up next with you? Are you going to jump on a plane over to Japan for Paul Butler and his quest for the titles against Inoue? What's next?
Yes, mate. Most likely that is the plan. But yeah, some big year coming for Peter McGrail. We've got some fight news coming for. I can't tell you, but we've got some fight news coming in the next week or so. Which is got some big plans for me. Hopefully, going to do up to about 8 to 10 shows next year. Really looking forward to it. Mate, massive year. Boxing needs a better year, because it's been a bit shit for the fights that have been made. Do you understand what I mean? For the boxing fans. Fans need a better year. Boxing needs a good year. Promoters need to work together. And yeah, boxing is going to have a better year.
Sam, pleasure speaking to you. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Lovely to speak to you, my friend. I'll see you soon.
Good man.